All right, what's going on, guys? How you doing, Oscar? Let's just get right into it. I gave you guys two scenarios yesterday on post market. It's still on my chart here. What's up, Hamza? Good morning, guys. Two scenarios that I gave out was inflation. The estimates were going to be high, so it was going to be hard for it to surpass it. No one knew the number, right? What's up, Rashab? How you doing? No one knew what CPI number was coming, but the estimate was high. It was 7%. It's supposed to be at 2%. So basically, since we're in line or underneath, I told you guys SPY has two directions to go. If we missed the number, if the number came in hotter than 7%, I said SPY can go right back down to 465. If it was good, we can go over 471. And right now we are opening at 471.50, it looks like. Obviously a lot of time till market open, but right now the first scenario is coming into hand. Obviously the market likes the number. They think as long as it's at 7%, it's fine. Obviously, it's not too hot because it came right in line with the estimates, right? So what you have to realize is even though we're bullish for today, 7% inflation is not a joke. The Fed has to do something about this. So January 25th or 26th, they will have to raise the interest rate. So while it's very bullish today and short term, just keep in mind they talk on the 25th and they will talk about interest rates now for sure because of the 7% inflation. So to keep that in mind, but other than that, I told you guys 471 was the level if we were bullish after the number. We broke the 471, and now as long as we hold above 471, we can make our ways back to all-time highs around 480-ish. All right, so keep that in mind. Hold of 471, we can go right up back up to 480 and above too. We can get all-time highs before the Fed meeting 25th. QQQ should do well as well. Why should it do well? One thing you guys have to realize is why these moves are happening, why QQQ was crushed more than SPY, even though XLF was strong. So XLF was strong because interest rates increase earnings of banks, obviously. So we were at all-time highs on XLF this whole time. We got bank earnings starting on Friday. QQQ was down the most because of rates. So when yields are spiking, as you guys see, we took out resistances from all the way back in March. We haven't been this high since 2019, guys. Even the heights of the pandemic, we weren't this high on yields. And right now we came back and we're retesting the breakout area. So this area right here, if we go under 1.691, the market should go back to all-time highs. But as long as yields are falling, tech and growth are in play. Keep an eye on Amazon, keep an eye on SE, Dawkin. Another reason to keep an eye on SE, Melly, and Bitcoin is this DXY. Look at this daily bull flag. So we had a huge run, bull flagged out, and now we're breaking down underneath the 50-day and underneath the bull flag. So as long as the dollar stays weak, that's good for equity. That's good for foreign companies like SE, Melly, and just keep an eye on those ones just because the dollar is super, super weak. So we got yields coming down, we got dollar coming down. That's all very good stuff for equities. IWM here should be up a lot. Yep, it's at 218.88, guys. So there's a lot of resistance up here. Let's see if IWM can get through this big resistance here at 220. 220 is a huge key resistance on IWM. If we get through there, we can make our way back to highs. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you're joining late, this is a very good number for what it is. They had an estimate of 7%. What's up, Ginger? They had an estimate of 7%. We came at 7%. If the number was 8%, this market would have tanked. If the number was 9%, the market would have tanked. If the number was under 7%, we still would have ripped. So right now, the market likes certainty. There was a lot of uncertainty around the number. That's why we're hedged. That's why we're waiting. And 7% inflation means the Fed's going to have to do something about inflation, but not right now. So maybe Jan 25th, Jan 26th, expect some more fireworks during the Fed meeting. But for right now, everything is flipping bullish. And I know it seems like it's flipping quick, but that's what the CPI number does. That's what binary events are. And on ES, I have these levels right here. Drawn out from Spot Gamma, we have 47.02, 46.89 to the downside. Put wall is way, way down here. Like you can't even see it on my screen. It's at 45.89. Seems like we were just there a couple days ago. And now we're going up, and the next resistance is at 47.40 on ES. So draw out these lines, 47.40, 47.02, 46.89, and just watch how ES reacts around those points. VIX coming down. We broke yesterday. I told you we had a little range between 21 and 1869. Yesterday we took out the lows, and now we're trading in the next range, 1614 to the downside, 1869 to the upside. So keep an eye on those as well. Bitcoin should be doing very well, especially with the dollar down and inflation in line. And right now, what you have to watch on Bitcoin, we did hold the support. We have a back test of the neckline most likely coming. Back test of the neckline should be around 46, 500-ish. And how we react around there is very important. One thing you have to keep an eye on for Bitcoin is this thing right here. I know it seems like it's just nothing, but when the 50-day crosses the 200-day to the downside, that's called a death cross. And remember what I said, these inflation numbers are not good. They're very bad. It's the worst inflation since 1989. But since it's in line, the market might turn bullish for now. Just remember, don't get all bulled up on Bitcoin. Don't get all in my opinion. Because what I see is, unless Bitcoin goes straight up in a line, this 50-day is going to cross over the 200-day. That's called a death cross. And we're going to come test this support again, in my opinion. I don't know if it'll be this week. I don't know if it'll be next week. I don't know if it'll be next month. But for right now, that's exactly what it looks like it's doing. It held the support, sucked in shorts here, killed them, stopped out longs here, killed them, and now it's ripping up. So let's see what happens in a week's time, 2 weeks time, but this market is still very iffy, guys. Just remember, you can get bulled up today or Friday, but until Friday-ish, because the market seems to be bullish. Obviously, you have to follow the trend. But for the longer term, intermediate term, I'm still not convinced on this. That's because of this 50 crossing the 200-day. That's called a death cross. SQQQ, we have calls in this one. I took it as a hedge yesterday just in case the inflation came out strong. Obviously, we all have long-term positions. We have leaps, we have equities. SQQQ works as a hedge. I have till Jan 21st, and I'm going to see how it plays out. I'm going to hold these. Adobe probably won't work because it's a weekly, but the other ones, yeah, I'll go over Netflix, Ginger. Let's go over some individual charts. Adobe probably won't work because it's a weekly. We don't have enough time on it, but this, like, we're still in a downtrend. Now we are starting to pass over the 8-day on a lot of stocks, but we're still in a downtrend, guys. So be careful. Don't get too bulled up. Don't start taking monthlies and leaps and putting your whole account into bullish calls, because we still have that Jan 25th meeting now on the Fed. There's so many binary events. This market is very, very tricky to swing trade. So Adobe, I'll probably cut at the open just because we only have till Friday. SQQQ, I'll hold on to. SE is one I want to pay attention to. Dollar is down, yields are down, so SE should rip. And the next level I see is 216.24, which is the 21-day moving average. That's another 13 points up. So keep an eye on this SE. If it pulls back maybe to VWAP or we get a nice entry somewhere, I will probably be taking SE calls. I do have equity still. But again, growth names should be on watch. Make sure you're watching growth because of that TNX. Because the yields are coming down, tech and growth should be on top watch. And beaten down growth names have big opportunity to bounce. They've got this Snow here. Snow might go crazy. Keep an eye on Snow. It's already trading at 311, so it's up 10 points from yesterday's close. But there's a lot of room. These names gotten beaten down a lot. So it came down from 405 all the way to 300, so almost 100 points down, and this one has a chance to rip. If yields continue to come down, growth and tech will rip big. So we got SE, you got Dawkin that could rip. Dawkin has big upside as well. It's at 75 right now. If it breaks through this little resistance line, it could see some nice follow through. CRM announced some good news today, so keep an eye on this one. All the growth names you can think of, keep an eye on them today, because I'll go over it again. I have another chart open. Because the yields are coming down, guys. Facebook, big gap up as well, 336. Keep an eye on this one. The 200-day moving average is at 337. 337.09 is the 200-day. If it crosses over there, algos might kick in to start buying. Let's see if we can close above the 200-day on Facebook, and that would incite more of a rally. So you could, any head and shoulders, it broke the headline, the neckline, but it held. This is where I bought the calls, and we sold them for a nice profit. If we held them, obviously we would have been really well, but obviously with the CPI, it was a binary event. It's like holding stuff through earnings, guys. So it's very, very hard to hold stuff through the CPI. I was just hedged a little bit for my longer term stuff, but other than that, it's way too hard for me to hold through binary events. You guys know I don't really play earnings lots. And this one looks like it's turning into a inverse head and shoulders almost. Let's see. As long as it holds this neckline now, it should try to change the trend, but we do have to set a higher low and a higher high to change the daily trend back in the favor of the bulls here. And the first step would be getting over that 200-day at 337. We're trading right almost, yeah, we're right at 337 pre-market. If it gets over 337.09, Facebook can have a nice run today as well. Nvidia channel, Bookie asked me about this on the session. I said over 262 it can start moving. Yesterday got over 262, we went all the way to 274, guys. Or 2 days ago, sorry. And yesterday, continuation. Today looks like we're gonna go higher. Obviously everything's going higher. Nvidia's not gonna be left behind. Tesla was very, very weak pre-market. Tesla was up 2 while the Nasdaq was up 50. So that should tell you about Tesla, but now that yields are coming down, Tesla is a growth company, guys. It's the poster boy of growth. So Tesla right now, we're opening up at 1081 and 1100 calls can be in play because we're crossing over all the moving averages. And let's see where Tesla goes from here. I'm not going to personally trade it. It's still too much chop, but keep an eye on Goldman Sachs. He knows exactly how to trade Tesla, and I'm sure he'll have a play at open. Google, here's Google. One of the weakest big tech names yesterday. Why do I say that? A lot of them crossed over the 8-day. Apple crossed over the 8-day. Facebook was over the 8-day, I believe, and there's one more that was over the 8-day. I don't remember the name, but Microsoft and Google closed under the 8-day moving average. Today, Google can play catch up, already up to 28.19 pre-market. And instead of big tech, honestly, myself, I would play the more beaten down growth names like Snow and SE and Melly. Just because the yields did a lot more damage to those than they did to big tech. So keep an eye on big tech. You can play it if you want. But I think the biggest bounces will come in these beaten up growth names. Home Depot we were watching. Remember I was telling you there's a shoulder, a head, and another inverse head and shoulder. If Home Depot takes out 393, it could be forming inverse head and shoulders that goes and takes out this 416. But if we get over 393, I will look for 410, 415 calls for a couple of weeks out, and I will sell them at this resistance again. Most of them at least, I'll take profits. So keep an eye on Home Depot. 393 is key. If we reject 393 today, puts might work on this Home Depot as well. What's up, Tonka? Hi, Oscar. ARK. This is another poster boy of growth. So ARK should tell you exactly what you need to know about growth today. Yields down. Let's see if ARK gets a nice bounce here. We do have this little tiny channel forming here. And if the yields continue to come down, if the market continues to go up, we can go all the way up and test the top of this channel. So keep an eye on ARK here. Stochastics and RSI are starting to curl up. And if we get a sustained run here, there's a lot of upside. The first target on ARK would be 92.80, which is a 21-day moving average. That's $4 up from here. And then you have to watch China. There's so much stuff to watch today. The market's been so beat up recently. There's a lot of names that could be on watch. China is definitely showing strength. Their CPI came in lower than expectations yesterday, so that's even better than America. BABA gapping up again. We're over the 50-day on BABA at 137. As long as we hold above 135 on Alibaba, we should start an uptrend here. We should set a lower high, higher, or a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and try to change this trend back in the favor of the bulls here, all the way to 161.58, which is the gap fill area. So we need to hold above the 50-day, and we should start making our way back up. And China should be stronger because they actually beat estimates on the CPI, whereas we just came in line. By we, I mean America. I'm not American. PDD, nice bounce. PDD moves the most out of these Chinese stocks. If you guys are interested, like yesterday, PDD was up 5.3%, whereas BABA was up 3%. So if you're interested, PDD is the most volatile. It'll move up the quickest. It'll move down the quickest also. So keep that in mind. JD was one of the strongest ones yesterday. Huge volume, 10% move. This one has room as well to the upside. So watch these three. And then T's favorite is this K-Web, which just combines all the internet stocks. And another one I gave you guys on the session, just to throw in your equity account if you want, is this yin. It's 3x leverage China bull. So keep an eye on China because they actually had much better inflation numbers than America. They actually beat estimates, not only came in line. Here's Netflix for you. Again, yields are down, dollars down. All tech and growth should benefit. That's where your eyes should be today. If you're trading American stocks, tech and growth. If you're trading stocks based on the dollar, it should be Bitcoin stocks. So Mara, Riot, Coin, MSTR. And then you have SE and Melli, which are foreign companies that benefit when the US dollar goes down. Then you have Netflix and the big tech. They should all go up. But again, the ones that go up the most are probably the ones that I just mentioned. The dollar ones, the growth names. Netflix here, I told you the only resistance I see on it is probably 561.71, which is the 8-day moving average, and then 566, which is a long-term range on this Netflix. If you guys scroll out, huge base. And if we go back up, I think we would have to test 566. I don't think we'll get through it the first time. It's possible we can just rip through 566 and go back to all-time highs. But with earnings coming up on Netflix, I think this one can have an earnings run up as well. Just keep an eye. If you jump in calls on Netflix, I would keep an eye very closely on 566. It's a huge resistance. Banks don't interest me right now. There's no reason to play banks in my opinion. Obviously with this inflation in line and yields coming down, dollar coming down, there's much better gains to be had out there in tech and growth. So I would pay attention to tech and growth. If you don't want to play American tech and growth, I would play Chinese names. What's up, Andrew? How you doing? Danish is in here. Silva's in here. LC Lending Club is a solid company, Oscar. I'm still in equity in this one. Obviously, we're down a little bit, but these earnings that they had back here showed how fast they're growing. It's actually valued way less than UPST. So if I was going in long term, I would rather buy LC equity than UPST equity. Down here, I will average down soon. I'm just waiting for that Fed speech. What's up, Ricky? How you doing? And like I said, banks, guys, I wouldn't worry too much about banks. There's earnings on Friday. There's too many unknowns now. They already ran so much. And tech and growth is going to go insane today. Dollars going down, yields are going down. So I would focus where the money goes, and it'll probably be in growth and tech. Other than that, LC obviously down a lot, but the earnings on this company, the fundamentals are amazing. This is a long-term hold for me. I will be adding to this one soon. I haven't added to my long-term equities yet, just because these one-day bullish moves, we're still, look at this chart. And then one day up, you think you can time the bottom like that. It's much harder to time the bottom, trust me. What's up, Saab? How you doing? And what's up, Kritik? I will go over Amazon, and then I'm going to call it. Again, like, guys, with this news, focus. Like, focus on tech, focus on growth. Or focus on China, whatever you want. They're all very strong. China should actually be stronger because the inflation numbers beat. Amazon here, Rickster will go over it in the chat. He's the best at it. What's up, Devinder? How you doing? But with this Amazon here, I have this long-term trend line here that I drew on the monthly. I'll show you right here. There's a little ascending support line here, and we actually dipped below it, but let me show you here. What did I see? As soon as we dipped below it, one candle below it, and then we ripped right back above it. So Amazon right here is retesting the neckline of this head and shoulders breakdown. And now pre-market, we are through it. So that's a big deal. The 21 day is at 33.55. I can see a move to 33.55 today. It's about a $20 move on Amazon. I will not average down on Adobe. We don't have enough time on it. I'll get rid of it at open, and I'll look for longs here. Danish, DoorDash. Okay, I'm going to do one or two more charts, guys. And then I got to go get ready for the day as well. Here's DoorDash. We are above the 21 day on DoorDash. Again, this is a growth company. Same thing applies as ARC. Same thing applies as Dockin, SE. They're all growth companies. Tesla's a growth company. When yields are up, these growth companies and tech companies are going to get destroyed. But yields are coming down now. By yields, I mean TNX. So DoorDash does have a chance to go. It's opening above 148.34. As long as it holds 148, which is a 21-day moving average. I think DoorDash has a lot more room up. We can go all the way to the 250-day 174.72-ish. So big move possible on DoorDash as well. As long as yields keep dropping, as long as the market keeps going up, we should be good on all growth. Pick and choose your favorite. So yeah, I will cut ADB. We don't have enough time on it. It was just like if the CPI number came in hot, we would have got paid. It didn't, so we have to cut it. It's as simple as that. I'm holding the SQQQ, but I will look to get into long growth and long China today. Thank you guys for attending, and good luck today.